Hey everyone, it's Cyrus here. Welcome to another episode of the Boxica podcast. I'm here with Keegan. How's it going, mate?
Hi, happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Thanks
finally
for giving
made
me your
it.
time.
Yeah.
This is something I've wanted to do for a while. So, Mr. Keegan. So first of all, guys, we're just going to get into Keegan. I'm very interested to hear about his background, how he got into fitness, and a little bit about his life. So let's just start there. So tell me, mate. Tell me a little bit about your childhood background.
All right. Well, basically getting into fitness. I think there's a few reasons I got into fitness. My dad would probably be the biggest reason. We led by example. He was big into his running, played every single sport out there. I have an older brother of 3 years. So between him getting into gym, my dad being in gym, I think with that sibling rivalry, part of me was like, one day I've got to be bigger, tougher.
Yeah.
He can stop kicking my ass. And to be honest, back in the day, WWE days.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of us know out there, we had John Cena.
Yeah.
He was honestly a big influence obviously it was all fake. Back then to us it was real.
Yeah.
I would see that man throwing it down, big guns everywhere.
His body isn't fake.
Yeah, he's not on roids.
Well, yeah, okay, he's on roids, but he's in incredible shape, right?
Yeah.
It's just an absolute monster.
Yeah, and he had the whole military vibe to him as well.
Yeah.
And that is a big thing for me. Coming from SA, our military in terms of training, I don't want to bash them too much, but our training is not the greatest. When you see British and American type of training, Nepalese, that is the training that really excited me. My dad came from a police background, military training background, and I would have loved to have gotten involved there as well. So that drove me quite a bit.
Yeah.
So without my dad even having to push anything on me,
that
drove me quite a lot. And just my family as a whole, we were very, very sporty. So we tried everything, you name it. Boxing, tennis, running, whatever, everything. My aunt was SA hockey, my uncle was SA hockey.
oh, wow.
Yeah, brother and I provincial. We were competitive in a healthy way. I think everyone tries to outdo each other to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But in a healthy way, we had our outdoor football events we would have, and at the house we'd always have family events, and we'd always end up playing a football match or cricket match or throwing each other down like wrestling.
That must have been an extremely competitive environment.
Yeah. And again, I'm not the biggest guy, so neither is my brother, but he was 3 years older than me, so he had the size on me, and he had his mates there, so they were always a little bit rougher on me. We'd get the bed mattresses and throw them out in the garden and make sure that when we were choke slammed, we weren't hurt. There was a show called Dragon Ball Z back in the day, believe it or not. It was all about throwing your energy into things and guys flying around and fighting and that.
Oh, awesome.
And obviously at a young age, that is also what drove me to start training in my bedroom.
That's awesome.
So bit of a funny one there. But yeah, I would say biggest driver of my training was my dad, for sure. 100%.
Is your brother still fit now?
My brother's still fit. He's up and down with his fitness, he'll say for himself. He's got involved in MMA recently.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so he actually got me into boxing back in the day, to be fair.
Right.
So him and I, completely different personalities. He was the one, and again, he would openly tell people this, he was the one getting in fights at clubs and bars, and whenever he came back from a night out, there was always, it's not how's your night, it's who won, how's the fight? And you'd always be able to tell by how he looked. He started boxing back in the day. And then I started boxing. I didn't take it too seriously. I didn't go pro or anything. But, we would have our fair share of sparring sessions and, just a good time. And then I used that. I focused more on football and my calisthenics, other training areas. But definitely a form of training that I loved. And it's obviously stuck with me.
So when did you... That's amazing that you got into it. And it's something that I've been thinking about a lot recently with having a kid on the way. is influencing the kid to do fitness.
Yeah.
And they always say it's the kid will do what the parents do.
Yeah.
So if you tell your kid to be fit and healthy, but you're leading a unhealthy lifestyle, that kid's not going to be fit and healthy.
Yeah.
It's just going to do what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
So something I've been thinking a lot about recently. It's amazing you got into it for that reason. So you did that as a kid, and then how did you start getting into the industry as making it your profession? Like, when did that... How did you get into it? What was your first job in the fitness industry?
My first job... I think deep down inside I always knew sports or fitness was the way I wanted to go.
Did you go to uni?
I went to a college, so I mean specialized. It's not really uni, but it's specialized college, health and fitness industry. It was called HFPA back home. There's some advertising for you guys. So I actually wasn't 100% sure when I left school. I knew it was somewhere down that route, but just like anyone, I don't think we're 100% sure when we leave school what we want to do. We study things and then we don't end up following through on it. Yeah. So I was going to actually take a gap year. I love to travel. I'm all about traveling, meeting different cultures. And at one stage, around 16, 17, I actually I was taking my football quite seriously. And I wanted to take it further. I have family in America and I was going to try get a scholarship there and see what I could do with it. But I got a bad injury to my knee. I had ligaments, quite badly damaged ligaments from a bad tackle, and it put me out for a while. And I was around 16, 17, which is prime age to be scouted. And by the time I got back and actually got back into proper training and feeling good and confident, whether it was mental or not, I thought it was too late. Obviously limiting beliefs, but I believed it was too late at the time for me to tackle it. So from there, I was going more down the route of like doing physio or biokinetics. My aunt's a chiropractor, so maybe down that route. But again, not 100% sure. So I did exercise science, and I thought I'll do that and then branch out wherever I want to. If I want to go back and try physio, I can do that. Yeah. It all goes hand in hand. It does. In the end. So, yeah.
Do you think that's something you might take up then one day, like get into the physiotherapy side of things?
Maybe not physio. So I'm busy. I'm nearly finished with an injury prevention specialist course. I'm in a massage course at the moment as well. So I'm sort of there. Yeah. But I think physio is 4 or 5 years of studying, and I don't think that's something I want to delve into. With everything I have going on and all the ambitions that I have. It's a big commitment. Yeah. But that's why I'm doing these courses, to kind of touch into it. And then, like the fitness industry in terms of training and diet, we grow by the amount of research we do. What we're watching, what we're studying. So I think I'll just carry on doing that, carry on doing courses, keep me on my toes, and learn from the best, chat to physios, chat to the real professionals of that industry, and take it further. No,
awesome, man. That sounds great. No, you have a lot of tools on your belt as a fitness professional, so that's great. I feel like a lot of the PTs nowadays get sucked into kind of one area, but it's really good. You're doing the massage. That's something that I've always wanted to do. Massage therapy. I've never got around to it, but amazing, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Keeping busy.
Thank you. Yeah.
How long have you been in Dubai?
Coming on 4 years in April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's really great to hear about your past, and now you're here. So what about looking into the future? Like, where do you see yourself in 3, 4, 5 years time?
3, 4, 5 years times. At the moment, the vision for the next year is to possibly be in Australia.
Cool.
Possibly be in Australia, and after 4 years when we're there, the military would be a great thing.
Really?
Yep, the military, the Air Force. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm dating an Aussie girl at the moment.
Right.
We met through Boxica, so thank you.
Right, yeah.
And she's going to the Air Force now pretty soon. This year she starts. So I'm very excited to actually kind of live through her.
Wow.
Vicariously through her, and just get her tips and stories and everything.
Yeah.
I've read David Goggins' book. I don't know if you guys know David Goggins. That excited me so much. I've never been so excited to read.
Wow.
And when she tells me she's going to the Air Force and what they're going to do, I'm just picturing all of that. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So
really? That's very interesting, man.
Yeah, so obviously sticking to what I'm doing now, I love my clients. I love, knowing that you're satisfying people and making their lives better and healthier. So I'll always stick with that. There's actually job roles there as a PT as well. So maybe that. I mean, 4 years, 5 years is a long time. Things will change. But the military is always something that has excited me, because just that mindset that you need for that discipline. You don't learn that anywhere else. You can't be taught it through a book or videos or whatever the case. So
wow, that's very interesting, man. Very interesting. I had some friends from Zimbabwe in the Marines. The Marines at the time that I was in, they were recruiting Zimbabwean guys. South African, I think there was one South African guy in the British military as well. You should look into it. I mean, I'd rather be in the Australian military than the British military, but it's definitely worth looking into. If that's the route you want to go down. Man, I've never met someone that's been how old are you now?
27.
27. I've never met someone your age before that wants to go in the military. It's always like the really young guys. I joined at 16. It's always like out of school, kind of fresh in. But it's very interesting to hear that that's something that you want to pursue, man. That's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, physical PT in the military would be a great job. That was always the job that when I joined the Marines, I always looked up to the physical training instructors, and it was something. They were all like ripped, and they always had this like high, really loud voices. And they were always like just looking immaculate and shaved, and the hair and their bodies. And I was a 16-year-old, looking up like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. One day, kind of like the John Cena, like looking up at like role models and stuff.
That was your driver.
And that would have been something that I would have done if I'd have stayed in the military for sure. But unfortunately, in the Marines, you can't stay in a job role. In the British Marines, you can't stay in a job role for more than 4 years. So it's something you'll probably do for a few years, and then they'll ship you back off to being a soldier or whatever. So
you don't specialize from there?
You specialize.
From what I've heard, yeah,
you specialize, but you don't stay in the specialization. As a physical training instructor in the Royal Marines. They can put you wherever they want. Basically, it's a 4 year, a 2 or 3 or a 4 year. I can't remember the amount of time. I think it's 2 years actually.
And then you're done after that.
And then you move on. Yeah, it's not. You can't like go in the gym and stay in the gym and be like the physical training instructor for your career. It doesn't work like that. You do it for a few years, then they'll ship you back into a unit, then you'll go off and do soldiering stuff, and then maybe you'll get another post, whatever. Anyway, that's why
what the point of that is.
The British Royal Marines they like to deploy. They can deploy on their own. So if you're a Royal Marines commando, right, it doesn't make any sense at all. You can be a chef, you can be a driver, you can be a physical training instructor, right? And it makes no sense to me, because you've done one of the longest, hardest training courses in the world to become a commando, right? It's tough, and then they can say, now you're going to be in the kitchen cooking. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Get the Navy to do it, or get someone else to do it. We'll just be soldiers like we wanted to be, like the reason we joined. Anyway, that's the story there. But one piece of advice someone always told me, someone that trained me to get fit to go in the Marines, was if you're going to join in the military, try and get in as an officer.
So I don't even know what the ranks are, to be fair. So I know I'm all excited about military and Air Force and you name it, but that's something I still need to know. So that to me is jargon. You can explain that.
You can try and go in as an officer if you can. It's the higher you get, the lower ranking up to like whatever the rank is, I don't know. It's different in each military, but you get the lower ranking in the officers. The officers are the bosses, basically. So you get more pay, more privileges, nicer accommodation. You're a leader. You get to lead men rather than be led. It's something that I would definitely, if I could do my time again, it's probably something I would have done rather than just go in as a grunt, carrying a rifle.
You've got to kind of have a degree to
go in as an officer.
From what I've heard,
in the UK military, you do need to have a degree.
And I think America's the same. I mean, from what I've heard, bits and pieces is, or you can kind of jump a few steps. If you've got a degree, they'll look at you quicker. So
it's all worth it. If you're going to do a career in the military, this is all stuff that you want to think about now. Because if you go in, if
they'll put me on the front line and say, cool, go.
That was my job, just
front line.
Get out there and shoot some things.
I would love to hear all those stories, exciting, man.
But oh man, interesting, that's cool. Wow, that's thrown me off from where we were originally going to go down, but I would be definitely interested to hear about the Australian military. And I mean, what's the age cut-off for the Australian military?
I don't even know, to be fair. But my girlfriend, her name's Natalie, Nat, she's starting now this year, and she's 36, turning 37.
Wow.
So
you've got loads of time.
Yeah,
you have to live there for 4 years before you can join.
Yeah, you've got to become a resident. So 4 years living there, you've got to become a resident before they look at you. So my plan until then is to live healthily and the longevity of my training. Yeah, and not just go and throw weights around too much that I'm going to injure myself. Yeah. So
that'll be key, man. That'll be key. Wow, cool. Well, let's. There's another area that you've been telling me recently that you've been looking into and developing yourself in, and that's life coaching. Yes,
very exciting. Road that I've gone down. So I'm doing Jay Shetty's Academy. I'm sure a lot of people have read his book or at least heard about him. British guy. He lived as a monk for 3 years in Southeast Asia, where they would fast for hours on end. They would be alone. Silence, and that's where obviously you grow the most as a person, where you surround yourself with no noise. And the reason I got into it is because I feel PT work, a lot of that is life coaching. It's natural life coaching, and there's other jobs as well where you'll be a natural life coach. But the main reason I got into it was to tap into any potential that I have. Big thing for me is mindset. Anything we want to do in life, we've all got limiting beliefs, and we need to tackle those. And I think that's the best way to tackle it is to learn more about it. And just the way things are worded in this life coaching course, you'll read one sentence and be like, okay, I didn't think of it like that. And then jump to the next step. That would have taken me 5 years, 10 years, maybe not even, maybe in my whole life wouldn't have been able to jump over if I didn't study this course or didn't read the book, That was also a big thing for me, is starting to read. I was never a big reader. I always thought watching videos which is a way of learning, but that was my way. But reading, at the end of the day, is a whole bunch of knowledge that someone's put into a book over a lifetime that we're going to take in over whatever, 2, 3, 4 weeks, however long it takes you to read. And if we can just do more reading, 10 pages every day, the amount that you'll read over a lifetime, the amount you'll learn and develop, will be massive.
Absolutely.
Bit of a tangent there.
No, I love that you went into the reading thing. I think that's super important. I was reading a book, funnily enough, excuse the pun, is that a pun? Where I can't remember the name of it, but there's a scientific word for it when an animal or a human or whatever, a living organism is born with certain information inside them already. Okay. So like certain birds that are born, and within a few steps, a few minutes, they're pecking at the ground for food. Like they didn't see their parents do that. It's built into them to peck at the ground and get the food, right? So humans are on the bottom of the scale for how much information we bring into the world. Okay. That's why we, 9 months in the womb, how many years as an infant, as someone that's reliant on our parents to teach us about the world. One of the reasons is we don't have this information, and the book went on, just to go on a little small, went on to say that nature is playing a game between how big it can grow our brains to fit in outside of the woman, because at a certain point you've got a massive head. You can't actually physically get out of a female human without damaging her, or she has to develop hip problems and now she can't walk. So nature was battling this thing apparently over the years where human head sizes were actually shrinking. Anyway, that was often a wild one. But we as humans get information as we grow. Yeah. We don't have this. We do have certain amounts, very limited though. Yeah. Most of it's learned, And the fact that what you just said, you can take someone's life experiences in a book, read it in a week, and learn from all the mistakes and all the things that have helped them in a week's time, and download that information and implement it into your life. I think reading is fantastic as well. And just like you, I didn't read as a kid. I started reading a little bit late in life, but then one of my goals for 2022 was to have one book a week.
Yes.
To read one book a week.
That's a big goal.
I probably, so far with the listening and the reading, I've probably done like 4 or 5 books already, and we're not even finishing.
That's amazing.
We're not even finished in January. I just think it's so good, just to soak up all that information.
Yeah. The audiobooks are obviously a big one for you.
Yeah.
We spend half of our time in the car driving.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we're at the gym, I know most of us need music to be pumped up in that, but just small things. It's adding those little habits every day. You wake up and you're eating breakfast. If you're eating for 5 minutes, put on what I do now is Jay Shetty. I listen to his podcast.
Right.
And if I only listen to 5 minutes, it's fine. I'll start from where I left off when I'm eating breakfast again.
Yeah.
And if you just add these small amounts of minutes every day and add these small habits every day, you're going to be 10 times the person you are now within whatever, a year's time, 2 years' time. And I think that's massive. Only when I started reading did it excited me big time.
Yeah.
So two types of books that I read are the spiritual ones, the life coaching ones, self-help, and autobiographies.
Biographies, man. They're the ones that suck me in the most.
Yeah.
Out of any type of book, if I'm on a biography, I can't put the thing down.
Yeah.
Some of the other books I have to force myself to read and I'm not really that interested, but biographies, wow.
Yeah. Because you're reading through people who have a book. They've been through a lot. They're well known for a reason, most of them. Yeah. And you're reading through all their adversities and what got them to where they are. And if you're reading that book, you have ambitions that are going to take a lot of work, and many obstacles are going to come through, and it's not going to be easy. People don't get to where they are through easy paths, Yeah. We've got to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Very exciting. Like I said, David Goggins, that one sentence can just change your mindset and get you excited. It can make you go from being lazy on the couch eating a McDonald's burger to jumping on, putting the shoes on, and hitting the road for a run.
Absolutely. We're in this topic of books. Let's stay on it. So let's talk about favorite books.
Yes.
Because I'm just absolutely crazy about books.
I'd love to know yours, actually.
All right, I'll start with a couple that have had probably the biggest impact in my life, and then we'll get into yours. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
I've heard of that one. I've got to get to it. Yeah.
Wow. A huge time in my life where I needed this book. I think as well you attract things that you need in your life. Things come into your life for whatever reason, and I don't think it's by accident that they come into your life. And this book came into my life at a certain time that I needed it, and I read it, and I've listened to this book more than any other book that I've reread it. I've re-listened to it, maybe 5-6 times.
Okay, wow.
The first time I did it, I immediately did it again straight after, and then periodically I'll just put it on, and it'll remind me, okay, no, we're good.
I'm glad you said that, because, sorry to interrupt you. One thing with these books is, obviously that one as well, is there's so much good information and good quotes. And what I do now when I read a book, if there's words I don't understand, I'll look up the word. There's a whole section on my phone for words I don't understand.
Yeah, nice.
And it goes the same with quotes.
Right.
One quote can change your mind into a positive mindset.
Yeah.
So same thing, there's so much valuable information in these books that you'll read a chapter and remember one or two things, and you're thinking, but there's actually so much more. Yeah. So that is also one thing I want to start doing, is reading a book. And then, if I had to read through a chapter in the morning, listen to it while driving. Listen to that same chapter while driving, just to recap and let it sink in.
Yes.
It's different ways of learning. We see and we hear.
Yeah.
So it just reinforces it.
What I like to do, which my wife hates, is I'll read something and I'll tell her about it.
Yes.
She hates it. She's like, stop going on with this boring crap again. But I love it. And I'm like, oh my God, this book, blah, blah. And she's like, okay,
Is that fine. Specific books she doesn't like, or?
No, she likes some of the stuff she likes. But I mean, she's sick of me doing it. Because every day I'm like, listen, this book was saying this. And she's like, yeah, whatever, you and your books. She's listened to this book as well, Power Now. And she was blown away by it just as much as I was. So I'll give you 3 books. Power of Now. Also, something I want to say about books is I feel like my default setting, if I wasn't reading books or quotes or just like me waking up, I'm quite a positive person naturally. However, you've mentioned limiting beliefs, what's possible, some of it positivity as well. Like sometimes you might get in your own head and get in a bad mood or whatever, and I feel like this stuff changes me as a person as well. Like when I'm reading about other people's stories, when I'm listening to like good positive things, I always go on YouTube, I listen to like positive affirmations and this kind of thing. Oh my god, like game changer for me. I'll just walk here and stick on an affirmations video and just listen to someone talking positive things, and it does change you. Makes you feel better. It makes you changes your mindset, you know, start thinking about positive things. Okay, yeah, this, and it changes you. So I don't think, you know, me as default setting without all this stuff, I don't think I'd be as good and feel as good as I am when I've got all these things going on.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to surrounding yourself with positive energy.
Yeah.
So just as we do, or we should, with friends and family, we are what we are surrounded by.
Absolutely.
So they say you are pretty much going to be similar energy to the 5 closest friends you have. Because, yeah, you're also around family and that a lot, but your friends, growing up, you're going to be around them a lot.
Yes.
And they're going to often know you better than your family knows you. So same thing, just a different road. It's the energy you're surrounding yourself by.
Yes. Man, they say, what is it? You're one of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes. There we go. You worded it better. That's where I was going.
That's that's what. So like, if you're listening to these books, you're surrounding yourself with these amazing people that have got books. Like you said, they've got a book for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give you a couple more. Have you got a book that you want to? One book that you want to mention while I'm looking through my list?
I'm going to repeat myself, but honestly, David Goggins.
Really?
Biggest inspiration for me, hands down.
Really?
Hands down. He... Oh,
can't hurt me, right?
I tell you, yeah, I could sit here for hours talking about it. Like, I get excited talking about it. The mindset, like, he's superhuman. The mindset that this guy has. If you don't know him, he's broken the world record for the amount of pull-ups he's done. It was only on his 3rd occasion that he did it. So the first 2, he ripped his hand open. The one, he was so close. I can't remember how many, couple hundred he was off. Oh. But he was so close, and he was trying to push through the pain. They had to come and inject his hand. Oh. Yeah, that's just one of the stories. The other one was...
So his whole like philosophy, I've listened to his book, I've watched a lot of his stuff. It's like facing up to that fear and doing the hard things, right?
Yeah.
The things that people... And he's very big into long distance running, isn't he? Just like grinding out on the roads, just like
that became a big thing for him after so he made Navy SEALs, the paratroops, and it was the 3. He was the first American.
To do all 3 Green Berets?
First African American, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, don't take my words on that.
Yeah.
To do all 3, if not American. Paratroops, Navy SEALs, and I think just military was it. But anyway, I've gone off now. What did you ask me? Or what was I?
The book.
Yeah.
Goggins.
What were we on? No. But we were.
He did 3 of the military. He was the first African American to do the 3 military.
Yeah, sorry, we were talking about his ultra running. So he got.
There we go.
Once he had finished that, he had gone through all of those. He had gone through Hell Week and made Navy SEALs and all of that. It was the next thing. So. It's a drug, you know. Like obviously, we get addicted to training. Yeah. You might box for a bit, and then boxing you retire. But what are you going to do next? You're not going to sit around doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know. So for him, he got into ultra running for raising money for kids who had lost their parents in the army.
Wow.
And that's how he started doing it. And then that was his next addiction. And that's another big part of the book where he talks about. In order to get into this one ultra marathon, he had to run 100 miles in 24 hours. And he hadn't been training. It was coming up in like 2 weeks' time or something. He hadn't been training. He did this. His kidneys started failing on him.
Just from all the breakdown of just the body breaking down.
His body was shutting down. And when he talks about it in the book, he's like, who knows, on mile, let's say he still had 30 miles to go.
Yeah.
And his body and his mind were shutting down on him.
Yeah.
But he was able to pull himself out of it. He says he's a masochist, and when you read the book, you can understand why. So you won't get many humans like him, but there's a lot from him that you can pick and take to improve your life, you know?
Yeah. No, definitely. Here's another book that's similar that I read that was one of the pivotal things that I listened to was Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. You know Jocko Willink?
I think I've seen that because it was linked to David Goggins.
He's a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And he's got a few famous books out. One more famous than that, but his book Discipline Equals Freedom. Mm-hmm. Wow, if you can, there's no like long paragraphs in that book. It's just very short sentences on each page. I actually read that book on my Kindle.
Okay.
And it's just like, it just says a sentence and it just hits you. Like, boom, you're like, oh my God.
Like, you knew it. I feel like a lot of it, deep down inside, you actually know it's there.
Yeah.
But again, only when someone says it and brings it to life, just like affirmations and whatever the case may be. Only when you read it and it's brought to life, then you're like, oh, okay. Actually, it is that simple. Why am I angry over this? Why am I not doing this? Why am I not pushing myself? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is actually simple. It's just us and our limiting beliefs holding us back.
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%. So I've got first one, the Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Second one, Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. The last one is a funny one. I'll explain why. It's the book that got me into this area of life, right? So this book is good. Like, I definitely recommend reading it, and a lot of people have read it. People have definitely heard about it. But I feel like this book is the gateway into other books and this kind of area of life, which everyone needs to understand, and it's The Secret.
Okay, yes.
Have you?
I haven't read it, but I've heard good things. Yeah.
The Secret is a crazy one.
Okay.
And that will open a lot of doors for you in terms of what we've been talking about, mindset.
Uh-huh.
I definitely believe that everything does start in the mind. You know, anything you want to do in your life, you're going to think about it first, right? So The Secret is the gateway book into that area. For me, it was anyway. It got me thinking about positive mindset and all that kind of things. So the Secret was definitely one that I highly recommend as well. So you haven't done all those 3 books, have you?
I haven't.
I mentioned,
So I will get them from you.
Yeah. Have you got another one? Have you got another one you want to?
I'm busy reading Will Smith's book at the moment.
Yeah, I did that.
Halfway. You finished it already?
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. I mean,
I listened to it.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's similar parts of the beginning that's similar to David Goggins. They both had like abusive fathers, and to their own extent and whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Will Smith's book. I won't go off on that. Otherwise, I'll talk for ages.
No, did he get into the bit yet where he met the trainer, the physical trainer that he started with?
No, I'm probably nearly there. Is that when he's in LA?
He meets a trainer, right? And he meets this physical trainer, who's a boxing coach.
Yes.
There's a physical trainer and a boxing coach. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but his life takes a 180-degree turn when he meets this trainer, and this trainer stays with him for like 10 or 15 years.
Okay.
And he achieves the biggest successes in his life because of this trainer, and he talks about why, and I don't want to spoil it for you.
Because it's also a lot to do with mindset, I'm assuming,
mindset,
not just the training.
Discipline. Like this trainer, I'll give you just a small one. I'll give you a small one, and it won't spoil the book for you. They're on set training for Ali.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali, right? So it's an important role. He's portraying one of the most famous, iconic.
Is that when you first got the trainer for that specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was this really good actor, but he didn't know anything about boxing. Mm-hmm. So the producer or the director or whatever of the movie was like, you're going to work with this guy, this one guy. He was like, this is the guy you need. Yeah. So he introduced them, and immediately, like, I'm not going to go into the details of it because I want you to listen to it, but basically, this is where the mindset is for this guy. They were training one day, and one of Will Smith's entourage started eating like a chocolate bar or something, and it's like 5 a.m. Or 6 a.m. or whatever, and they're training, like they're getting Will Smith, and the trainer looked at him, and he was just like, "What the f are you doing?" And he wouldn't let anyone in his team even eat a chocolate bar or do anything lazy or negative around Will, because this is the mindset of the coach. He was like, "No, this is how we're going to live from now on, and it's not just do it for an hour and then leave it." I think he tried to actually, I think the actual story is he tried to bring a suitcase of Snickers or something to a country that they were going to, and the trainer went off one. He was like, no, this isn't happening. We're all in this together. We're all going to do it hard. We're not going to take the easy route, and we're not going to eat these chocolates or anything like this. We're going to do it, all of us together, the whole group. And that was the mindset of this trainer, and it changed Will Smith as a person, and they went through this long career. All his hits and everything that he did were all because this guy had them in this thing. And anyway, they ended up splitting up in the end, and I'll leave that for you to read about. But it's a perfect example of a book where it's like, wow. Another thing that interests me about that book is he used to entertain his dad, right?
Yeah.
When he was a kid, because his dad was this aggressive guy.
Yeah, to keep the violence down.
To disarm the situation so he wouldn't get beat. So he got so good at entertaining, and he gets to be one of the best actors of all time. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that was amazing, I must say. Going back to what you just said as well, is your original question was the whole life coaching thing. So originally, I was starting it to tap into my own potential. But again, as a PT, life coaching it goes hand in hand with it. And you can be an amazing PT. You could know your exercises back to front. You can know the progressions back to front, nutrition back to front. But if you, again, just like in Will Smith's situation there, if you're not training that mind, you're not going to get everything you can get out of your body. Just like we will happily go to the gym 5 days a week, 7 days a week, train hard, smash weights, even eat healthy.
Yeah.
But you're not training your mind through self-knowledge, self-love, whatever, meditation, however you do it, your affirmations, your reading. That is, you've got your diet for the body, your food and training. You've got diet for your mind. Same thing. And you've got to find that balance. And as a PT, you're going to be a crucial part of your client's life for that.
Yeah.
You're not just there to train.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what they think is going to happen, but you're there an hour, essentially, at least an hour with them every day.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be talking about mediocre things. You're going to get to know them on a deep level. They're going to get to know you on a deep level. And essentially, you want to give them good advice. You don't want to be there sugarcoating things, showing them the easy way out. You need to be giving them good, sound advice and knowing that you're steering them in the right direction to live a happier, more successful life. So that is also a big part of why I started studying life coaching.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have a plan to take it on as a business one day.
Yeah.
If it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
But for that aspect of it, I think it's very important.
I think you'd be really good. I think you are really good. You're very, not only just, you've got a great personality, you're a cool guy, to be around, but you have got all these different areas that you're knowledgeable in. So you're a massive, asset to your clients' lives. You're coming in with all these different areas, all these tools that you can come into their lives. So I think that's awesome, man. One more question I have for you, and then we'll end it there. So I know you read. So we've really covered a lot of books and reading and stuff on this podcast, which is great. You are doing these courses, but is there anything else you do in the day to enhance your mindset? Like, is there any kind of habits, or if you get into a stage where you're feeling like really negative or whatever, is there something that you'll just snap into? Do you meditate? Obviously, physical training is probably one of those things, but is there any other things where we can give the listeners listening, like something like that they can maybe try out as well?
Yeah, for sure. Biggest thing is take one thing at a time. It sounds very simple, but we're all going to have those moments of anxiety. Doesn't matter how good we are at our jobs. We're we might be very confident in one area of our life, but not confident in another. You know, no one's going to be confident 24/7. So take things one step at a time. Focus on the task that is right in front of you. A lot of the time, just like what you guys have spoken about previously, is that inner voice, our limiting beliefs. A lot of the time, I might be talking to you here in a podcast, but worrying about, I've got whatever coming up next in the next 2 hours. Focus about what you're dealing with now. Give your 100% energy and focus. Be present in that moment. Worry about the other stuff later. You want to obviously prepare. Just going back to that famous quote, if you fail to prepare, you're going to prepare to fail. That's also going to help you with that anxiety, but that's a whole nother thing. But focus on the task at hand. And yeah, I read a I read a quote, good timing, with that question. I read it the other day, is that it was from Wim Hof.
Right.
And no, I lie, sorry, it was from Jay Chetty.
Right.
And his video said that everything is linked to breathing. And it's true. We feel angry, our breathing increases. We feel sad, we feel happy. Everything is breathing. So those moments as well, you're feeling anxiety, control your breath. Try to realign yourself, focus, be present in that moment, control that breathing. So at the time, at this moment in time, I think that's the biggest thing for me. In terms of meditation, I wish I had a little bit more time. I know we've got to make time. It's a poor excuse, and I will get to it. But meditation, I would definitely be doing a lot more of. The Wim Hof breathing, if people haven't heard of that. Otherwise, that's a conversation for another time. They can look that up. And just finding that balance. Listing your priorities. And again, when you saying affirmations, when you're writing things down and journaling, you're bringing it to life. Write down your priorities. Focus on those more important things in your life, and take out the mediocre things, the things you don't need. And you will start leading and living a happier lifestyle. Sounds very simple, and it is very simple, but we just have to be guided. And once you start feeling the effects of it, you'll see that living a happier lifestyle isn't as hard as it seems. You know. Wow.
So The Power of Now, that book that I said people to read, don't read that. Just listen to what Keegan just said, and you're good. Do that.
It's definitely something I want to try to take further.
That's awesome.
I'm loving it, man. Loving it.
No, that's very good advice. Really, really great advice for us to end this podcast on. So thank you for your time, mate. Really appreciate you coming on here and giving that awesome wisdom to the members. And definitely 100% going to have you on again, and we'll get into some more awesome subjects on mindset and life coaching and stuff like that.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. Mate. Yeah, it's been great.
All right, guys. Until next time.